When the sun sets, it is time for the top stories from the day. Good evening and welcome to Sunset News on this beautiful Wednesday evening. As usual, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather, sports, and so much more. I am Glenora Shipura. Starting us off in the news tonight, the Roads Authority has unveiled an ambitious long-term plan to upgrade some of Namibia's busiest highways at an estimated cost of more than 155 billion Namibian dollars if all projects are eventually developed into dual carriageways. The program targets key transport corridors linking Windhoek with the central, northern and coastal regions, with the aim of improving road safety, easing congestion and supporting economic growth. Among the biggest projects is the proposed 82-kilometer Windhoek Rehoboth dual carriageway, estimated to cost 12.8 billion Namibian dollars, with design work already completed. The planned upgrades include the Okahanja Oshuarongo, Otavi, Tsumeb, Swakopmund Arandes, Usakos, Omaruru Oshuarongo, Grootfontein, Mururani and Mururani Rundu corridors. The Roads Authority says building all 9 projects as 2+1 carriageways would cost about 28.9 billion Namibian dollars, while upgrading them to full dual carriageways would require more than 155 billion Namibian dollars. Design work on several of the projects is already underway or scheduled to begin over the next few years. Moving on to our next story, woman denied bail in $5 million insurance fraud case. A 36-year-old Swakopmund woman accused of involvement in a scheme in which deaths were faked to claim more than $5 million in insurance payout has been denied bail and remains in custody until September. Operi Damue appeared in the Swakopmund Magistrates Court on Wednesday, the 8th of July, on charges of fraud, forgery, and uttering a forged instrument and money laundering in contravention of the Prevention of Organized Crime Act in connection with an alleged scheme in which deaths were faked to claim insurance payout. Damue was denied bail and remains in custody. The case was postponed to the 8th of September for further investigation. According to a warrant of detention issued by the court, Damue faces 3 counts, including money laundering in contravention of Section 4 of the Prevention of Organized Crime Act 29 of 2004. It is alleged that multiple life insurance and funeral policies were taken out before false death claims were submitted to Old Mutual Namibia over several years. The alleged fraud resulted in an actual loss of more than $5 million Namibian dollars, with a further $1.8 million Namibian dollars in attempted claims. A second suspect appeared in the same court on the 30th of June, and police have indicated that further arrests are expected. In our next story, the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, MEFT, in partnership with EIF Namibia, UNITO and the Global Environment Facility, GEF, officially launched the UNITO GEF Namibia Child Project, aimed at supporting Namibia's green hydrogen development through policy development, technical capacity building, knowledge sharing and inclusive participation. On the 8th of July 2026. In Windhoek, another launch brought together government representatives, development partners and stakeholders. United Nations Resident Coordinator to Namibia, Hopolang Fororo, stressed that women, youth and local communities must be involved from the beginning of the decision-making process rather than being consulted after plans have already been finalized. She said meaningful participation creates ownership and called for women to be recognized as leaders, innovators and decision makers, while urging greater involvement of young people in shaping Namibia's green economy.
Sitting in, so I need your good thoughts and well wishes. It's really hot, especially now that we are transforming in this country. Issues of sustainable development is not easy because it's always pro and cons that we have to weigh. So my name is Timotheus Mufeti. I'm Environmental Commissioner for Namibia, but I'm also working in this ministry as a Deputy Executive Director for the Department of Environmental Affairs and Forestry. So I'm sitting here to represent Mr. Sikongo Haihambo, our Executive Director for the ministry, and who is also a Jeff operational focal point, who really wanted to be here, but because of other equally demanding, he's attending to other issues. So executive directors in the government are very, very, very busy people. So they are always running up and down. So he entrusted me to deliver his notes. But before I do that, let me recognize the Excellency, the UN rep in Namibia, and the High Table, Mr. Ribamba from EIF, and Joseph from the Nitrogen Program, and also most importantly, our friends from UNIDO.
Partners, ladies and gentlemen, we may not be coming to Namibia often because we're headquartered in Vienna, but every time it's a true pleasure to see so many familiar faces, so thank you very much for having us. This time I'm not here alone, I'm here with my colleague Camilla Daoudi, who's supporting the Namibia portfolio together with me. And it's our pleasure to welcome you to today's launch event of the UNIDO Global Clean Hydrogen Program. Let me begin maybe by giving you some context why the Masters of Ceremony has mentioned that UNIDO is such a strong partner, because let me tell you, there's quite a lot of excitement about working with Namibia in UNIDO, and the reason for that you have heard in the previous speeches, because everybody mentioned the word industry. And we were founded in 1967 with a unique and very narrow mandate on industrial development. And there's not many countries in the world that live and breathe the commitment to industrial development at the moment to the same extent that Namibia does. And therefore, not just in hydrogen, but in other sectors as well, across textile, value chains, agriculture, mining, and so forth. I speak on behalf of all of my colleagues when I say that Namibia is truly a country that we really enjoy working with and that we're proud to contribute to the journey of green industrialization.
The head of the Criminal Investigation Department in the Oshana region, Deputy Commissioner John Matongwe, told Network Media Hub on Tuesday that while the police have a fingerprint identification system capable of identifying suspects with previous convictions, a growing backlog often delays results needed by investigators. Matongwe said the process itself does not take long, but Namibia has only one central facility responsible for analyzing fingerprints from all 14 regions. He explained that high volumes of requests from different regions often result in delays before results are returned to investigators. Despite the delays, Matongwe said investigators continue to take a proactive approach by sharing information between regional commands and tracing suspects believed to be involved in crimes across the country. He added that lengthy criminal proceedings are also influenced by factors beyond police control, including the complexity of cases, applications for state-funded legal representation, and postponements requested by defense lawyers. All right, that concludes our top stories. On the other side of the break, we get into our community talk.
Namibia is a land of movement, with waves that never stop reaching forward. Here, adventure is not something we search for. It is something we are born into. In every corner of this country, creativity rises, from artists, from athletes, from dreamers. And when the world comes to explore Namibia, they discover something extraordinary. Because when sport moves people, creativity moves ideas, and tourism moves the world toward us, something powerful happens. A platform where movement meets imagination, where industries connect, where opportunity grows, where Namibia's next chapter begins. Welcome to the Creative Sport Tourism Expo. Exhibit, partner, experience. Creative Sport Tourism.
Oshana Regional Commander Andreas Shilelo says the rapid increase in vehicles on the region's roads has placed growing pressure on existing infrastructure. Speaking at a road safety forum held at the University of Namibia's Jose Eduardo dos Santos campus in Ogwediva, Shilelo said vehicle numbers, particularly in Oshakati, have increased significantly since 1998, while the road network has largely remained unchanged. He called for the development of more roads to accommodate population growth, improve traffic flow, and make traveling safer for motorists and pedestrians. Let's have a look.
Community using their vehicle, the motorists. When I left Oshakati in 1998, Oshakati was not having a lot of vehicles like the vehicles that are here today. But the roads that I left here in 1998 is likely to be the same roads, plus few roads that has been also introduced. I saw the roads from Ogwediva to Oshakati. There is more bypass road, especially this side of Okatana, from Ogwediva to Okatana side, then you can get access to Oshakati as well. So it means that there is a development on roads because of the demand and the higher rates of vehicles. People bought a lot of vehicles, they make use of motorists. And the fact that vehicles also become cheap, and vehicle is a very important asset, being fast to take people to various places.
Muguti Etosha has officially reopened following a 260 million Namibian dollar transformation, with owner OL Leisure describing the investment as a vote of confidence in Namibia's tourism industry. The redevelopment, completed over 4 years, was officially marked on the 3rd of July when Prime Minister Elijah Ngurare unveiled a commemorative plaque at the lodge's new Sky Bomber. Located on the doorstep of Etosha National Park, the lodge has been comprehensively upgraded since 2022. The refurbishment includes redesigned public areas, renovated guest rooms and junior suites, a new Ombala presidential suite, upgraded restaurants, and a new Sky Bomber. We will be right back with economic news on the other side of this. The Namibia Training Authority has awarded more than $1 million to 7 secondary schools to strengthen pre-vocational education and equip learners with practical skills needed in the labor market. Each school received $150,000, bringing the total investment to $1 million to over $1 million, which will be used to improve practical learning and technical skills development. Now, speaking at the Pre-Vocational Education Support Awards, NTA Chief Executive Officer Eric Fandula Nengweya said the initiative is aimed at addressing the growing mismatch between the skills learners acquire in school and those required by employers. He said Namibia continues to face the paradox of educated but unemployed young people, often because of gaps between education and labor market demands. By strengthening pre-vocational education at secondary school level, the NTA hopes to expose learners to technical and vocational career pathways much earlier. Nengweya said the funding will also strengthen collaboration between the education sector and the country's technical and vocational education and training system, creating a smoother transition from school to formal training and eventually employment. According to the NTA, the funding will improve access to practical training equipment, learning resources, and workplace technologies, giving learners more hands-on experience before entering the labor market.
Every stakeholder whose commitment has made today's occasion possible. Allow me to start by commending the NTA. You know, as politicians and as government, the easiest thing to do is to speak about transformation. The harder and more important thing is to actually invest in it. And so you, the NTA, under the stewardship of my senior, Dr. Eric, have chosen the latter. And I could not be more proud of both the NTA and equally to be Namibian. Our country is at a crossroads as we fast approach the final horizon of Vision 2030, where our course is charted by the 6th National Development Plan, as mentioned. Now, this plan unequivocally states our goal, and that is to achieve accelerated human development by ensuring equal access to quality education, employment opportunities, and a decent livelihood for all 3,022,401 Namibians. That's the 2023 census number. But we're not in 2023, right? And so I quickly chat GPT earlier and I said, if we use some historical patterns, what would the new population be? And I think it told me that from 2011 to 2023, there was an average of 3% population growth. And so that puts us today, 2026, at 3,300,000 Namibians.
Up next, the financial indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 21.75, against the euro at 18.60, against the US dollar at 16.29. $2.40 gets you one Chinese yuan. On the commodities market, gold, copper, and platinum went down, while Brent crude oil went up, trading at 4.57%, going for $80.10 per barrel. We'll be right back with your international news. Survivors of female genital mutilation in the Gambia are anxiously awaiting a landmark Supreme Court ruling that could determine whether the country's ban on the practice remains in place. The court is expected to deliver its judgment on Wednesday, with many women saying the decision will determine whether their daughters remain protected by law or face the same trauma they endured. Among them is 28-year-old Miriam Jabi, who says she was subjected to female genital mutilation at the age of 9. She says the experience has affected every stage of her life, from adulthood and marriage to motherhood, and fears her two young daughters could face the same ordeal if legal protections are weakened. Up next, the weather predictions for tomorrow. The capital city can expect a minimum of 8 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 21 degrees Celsius with sunny weather conditions, while Hobabis can also enjoy a minimum of 8 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 22 degrees Celsius with sunny weather conditions. Henties Bay can expect a minimum of 16 and a maximum of 28 degrees Celsius with sunny weather conditions, while Adams Bay can expect a minimum of 13 and a maximum of 24 degrees Celsius with partly cloudy conditions. Here is Ari Hohad with the sports news.
Everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with soccer news first. World Cup soccer, that's the 2026 men's FIFA World Cup soccer. One big round of 16 game that was played is Argentina, that is through to the round of 8, and they beat Egypt in a spectacular way, and they beat them by 3-2, and it was all 3 goals that were scored very late in the second half. It was in the 79th minute, the 83rd minute rather, and then also the 3rd minute of injury time. It was Enzo Fernandez that scored the winning goal for Argentina. Argentina now go through to play against Switzerland. That is in the round of 8. That game will be played over the weekend on Sunday in Kansas, and that's after Switzerland got the better of Colombia. It was 4-3 on penalties. After normal time and extra time, the score was still 0-0, but Switzerland going through. Moving on to tennis news from Wimbledon in London, and it was a big game that was played in the men's side of the draw. In the end, it was Novak Djokovic that beat Felix Auger-Aliassime of Canada. That was an amazing game in 5 sets. It went on for more than 5 hours. It was 7-6 in the 5th set, and it was Djokovic that came through in that game. In the next round, he will now play the number 1 seeded player Jannik Sinner. It is after Jannik Sinner beat Jan-Lennart Struff by 7-5, 7-6 and 6-3. In the women's side of the draw, it is Karolina Muskova that got the better of Naomi Osaka. That was in 2 sets. It was 7-6 and 6-4. And also 2 of the American contenders playing. It was number 7 seed Coco Gauff beating number 4 seed Jessica Pegula in 3 sets, 4-6, 6-3 and 6-3. Closing off today's international sports news, it is cycling news. It is the Tour de France that continues stage 4. It was a spectacular win for Mats Petersen, and he won convincingly to the effect that he's got the yellow jersey at the moment, and he's also 7 minutes and 53 seconds in front of the defending champion Tadej Pogačar. Pogačar was the leader after the 3rd stage. Also Jonas Vingegaard also now in 5th position on the overall standings. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day. We'll talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.
And with that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. Thank you for tuning in and catching up on the latest news with Sunset News. From me, Glenora Shipora. Until next time.